Hello and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 27 team selection video with me, Holly Shand. It's been a significant midweek for giving us the future FPL schedule, which makes making transfers for the weekend far easier. Help me get this one to 500 likes and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. Starting off then with how my game week 26 went, and it felt like it was progressing quite nicely going into the final game of the game week. I was on 52 points, having taken a -4 hit. Got lucky with a Branthwaite goal. A shame that he couldn't hang on to the clean sheet. Pau Torres did go off with a little issue though, which is a concern. Foden delivered. I had high hopes for him. Saka as well got himself in the points once again, as did Watkins. The 5-pointer from Haaland was a bit disappointing though. De Bruyne on the bench, yellow card. That was frustrating. Then going into the Monday night game, I had triple Brentford for the trip to West Ham. They lost 4-2. My 3 players got me a combined total of 1 point, whereas Bowen owners got a huge 20 points. So that was definitely the tipping point to send my arrow from a green arrow to a red arrow. The -4 hit didn't help, but you look at the players that come in, Saka and Watkins, a huge contribution to the points and really good picks going forward as well. So I can't complain too much. Moving on to my transfer plans then, and I'm not that flexible here. I've got 1 free transfer, 0.1 million in the bank. Now, we do now know how the blank game week 29 shapes up, and it is maximum chaos. We only have 4 fixtures in the schedule. However, because I played my wild card back in game week 24, I am fairly okay set up for this. I've got 3 Luton players. I got Watkins and Pau Torres last week. I need him to stay fit. I've also got Richarlison in my side and a couple of Brentford players. So I'm up to 8 players already, which feels like a good position to be in. I do need to remember that any players that I've got this week for game week 29 won't double later in the season. So they're probably players that I will want to move out fairly quickly after game week 29. So I do need to be mindful that maybe, you know, settling with the 8 players that I've got and rolling a transfer into game week 30 would probably be quite a good move. Now, I do have 3 Luton players as well for their double in game week 28. Now, obviously, if Dominic Solanke is fit for double game week 28, I'll be wanting to bring him in, probably captain him, maybe even triple captain him, but he has picked up a flag midweek with a knee injury that he's having a scan on, so it doesn't really look very promising. And at this stage, if Solanke is out for the double, I'll probably just ignore Bournemouth altogether. The move that I was going to have to make was Haaland out to bring Solanke in, because obviously Tony and Watkins have the fixtures in blank game week 29, but I've got a bit of funds tied up in Haaland. I will want him straight back, so those question marks on Solanke means that move's probably off the table. A couple of players that I am looking at now that have got a fixture in game week 29 now. There's a couple to consider. Obviously, I've got Richarlison in my team. He's been underperforming a bit in recent weeks. Son now back fully fit after the Asia Cup. He's a player that I could look to bring in. It would probably have to be De Bruyne out for Son. It's not a move I'm prepared to make this week, though. I think Manchester United at home looks like a pretty good fixture for Man City at the moment. A game that De Bruyne seems to thrive in, and obviously had a very good midweek, which bodes well for the weekend. Another player I'm looking at is Bowen. The AI has been really backing him in recent weeks, which I kind of found confusing, but I guess I'm going to have to eat my words now, because he did do very well last time out. I could potentially make a move from either De Bruyne or Foden to get Bowen in at some point. Again, I'm not sure if it's a move that I want to make this week, even though the fixture is quite good. I think Burnley at home in game week 28 is probably the time to bring in Bowen if I'm going to do it. So they're the sorts of moves I'm looking at, but right now I'm not motivated enough to make those moves this week. I want more information on Solanke before I decide if I want to go with Bournemouth for double game week 28 and attack that week. So it feels like a good week to roll the transfer, gather information, and hopefully get to game week 28 and 29 in a really strong position. Obviously, if I've got a couple of transfers to make heading into the blank and double, and then a couple of transfers that I can make going out of that position, that means that with at least a minimum of 8 players, I won't need to use my free hit chip, which means that I will have the free hit and triple captain chips remaining for the doubles in game week 34 and the doubles in game week 37. We will need to wait a little bit longer to see exactly how those game weeks shape up, but it's something that I'm hoping that I'll be able to attack with those remaining chips, and that will, you know, fully clarify whether my strategy was the best one for this season. Team selection time then for game week 27, and a decision between the sticks on whether to play Flecken at home to Chelsea or Captaincy at home to Aston Villa. It's a tough call, but I feel like Flecken has the better form and Chelsea seem like the weaker side away from home at the moment. So it is Flecken that gets the nod. I'm not going to be doubling up on the Brentford defence, so Reguilon is on my bench, as is Doughty, both again with those difficult fixtures. And I'm going to be playing Gabriel, Branthwaite and Pau Torres against Luton away, currently flagged with injury, but I do have Doughty to come off my bench if he is needed. Moving into the midfield then, home comforts for Richarlison, De Bruyne and Foden, and then Saka away at Sheffield United, another tasty fixture. That sees Barkley first sub for Aston Villa at home, and then up front, the front three. And I feel like probably for the first time in a while, I've been on the optimal front three, especially with that Solanke issue coming in. So it's Tony home to Chelsea, Haaland at home to Manchester United, and Watkins away at Luton. Captaincy then, and I guess Saka and Watkins both have to be in the frame because they're both playing against promoted teams. They are away from home though, which does kind of dampen the attractiveness of that, but Saka has been in phenomenal form. He does have to be in the conversation. However, Haaland against Manchester United, we know how motivated he is as a lifelong City fan to be playing against Manchester United, the big derby game, and it is a fixture that he's got a pretty good record in. He's mentioned in the past how much he likes playing against Manchester United, how much he enjoys scoring against them as well. So we do need to bear that in mind. His record against them in the league is phenomenal. Last season in this fixture, he got 3 goals and 2 assists for one of his biggest ever fantasy hauls. In the away fixture this season, he got 2 goals and an assist in the 3-0 win. So I'm backing Haaland all the way with the captaincy this week. Get your dilemmas for game week 27 in the comments and I'll do my best to answer all of them. Also, I'll be back tomorrow, probably at 1 o'clock for the press conference stream. But if the press cars come earlier, obviously we need news on Salah, we need news on Solanke and a few others as well. Make sure you're hitting the notify button because if I do go live earlier, then you won't miss it. Make sure to like and subscribe as well. Thank you so much for watching.